Sir, you can go ahead and begin.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe, according to Adrian Naku, a writer for the Journal of Popular Film and Television, takes the very best thing about superheroes and expands it. In his article, The MCU and the Organized Superhero, he states, the superhero genre uniquely manifests the greater culture's conception of an individual's potential, the limits of what one can realistically or unrealistically do. The MCU asks what more than one can do in these situations. Launched by Iron Man, directed by Jon Favreau in 2008, the MCU has brought many heroes onto the big screen and, more importantly, together. And that brings us to the biggest roster in a Marvel film. Avengers: Infinity War. This film made over 200. This film was the third most expensive film ever made. It made over $200 and $2 billion at the box office. So clearly it was popular. But why? Well, it's a well-crafted story. It has a well-crafted story that has been building upon 10 years of movies. The plot goes into many different directions. It has many different heroes, and its villain is central to the story and is more than just another bad guy. In 2012, we were introduced to the Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers. Comprised of Iron Man, also known as Tony Stark, Captain America, also known as Steve Rogers, and Thor, the Norse god of thunder, the Incredible Hulk, also known as Bruce Banner, and Black Widow, and also Hawkeye. Over the course of 10 years, these heroes have fought many villains, such as Loki and Ultron. Over time, we've also been introduced to Infinity Stones, rare crystals that have immense power and are the ultimate goal of our villain Thanos. New heroes have also been introduced, such as Spider-Man, Vision, and T'Challa. The point is, even though these stories are suspenseful, we always know that our heroes will come out on top. So when the events of Captain America's Civil War happens and our heroes are separated, this gives Thanos the perfect time to strike. Meanwhile, Thor is busy saving Asgard on a spaceship, and the Guardians of the Galaxy, a group of ragtag space adventurers comprised of a talking raccoon, Rocket, a snobby teenage tree, Groot, Gamora, the daughter of Thanos himself, and Star-Lord, the coolest being on the planet, are about to run into each other, and Thanos has just gotten the first Infinity Stone. This is where Infinity War kicks off and diverges into 3 separate plots. Thor's people are killed at the hands of Thanos, and he takes the Space Stone from Loki's cold, dead hands. Thor, being the sole survivor, runs into the Guardians, and along with Rocket and Groot, go to build Stormbreaker, a weapon capable of killing Thanos. Meanwhile, Spider-Man and Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, a wizard who happens to have the Time Stone, run into the rest of the Guardians and reveal that Thanos now has the Reality Stone. They set a trap, but Star-Lord messes it up whenever he finds out that Thanos has killed Gamora, his love interest. Just as Thanos is about to kill Tony Stark, Doctor Strange mysteriously trades his life for the Time Stone, saying it was the only way. With 5 out of 6 stones, Thanos now sets his eyes on the African nation of Wakanda. Vision, the keeper of the Mind Stone, is taken to Wakanda, where a final battle is fought. Captain America and others come out of hiding to fight with Bucky Barnes, Cap's childhood friend, and Black Panther, the leader of Wakanda and the Wakandan army. Vision sacrifices himself to destroy the Mind Stone, but Thanos reverses time to be able to kill Vision and get the Mind Stone. Just when all hope seems lost, Thor comes out of nowhere and severely wounds Thanos. But I think we all know he should have aimed for the head. And this brings us to our antagonist, or really protagonist, Thanos. In his review for Infinity War for the Washington Post, David Betancourt writes, "The superheroes are not what make this movie. What does is the villains these heroes are up against, Thanos. He doesn't have, you might think he has a simple goal, to rule the world with an iron fist with the power of the Infinity Stones. But it's more than just that. He wants to kill half of the universe. Not all of it, just half. This is because he thinks that the world is no longer capable of sustaining life and resources are rapidly draining. Therefore, the only answer for him is to lower the demand." While this is clearly wrong, the excellent CGI and Josh Brolin's voice acting gives us this bad guy a sense of character that not many villains have. Betancourt, who writes all the MCU movie reviews for the Washington Post, says it's quite a deep dive into the mind of a madman. Infinity War manages to show that there is more inside Thanos' heart than just destruction. He is very much the protagonist of the story, as the other branching paths show that the rest of our heroes aren't the main focus. The only thing that stays the same is his goal for what he believes is right. And he goes on a hero's journey and must make sacrifices along the way. And he wins. And this is what makes this movie different. It's all about the villain, and he wins like a hero would normally win. And many of our favorite characters perish because of this. Now, obviously some of our heroes aren't going to stay dead for long, but Avengers Infinity War was an experiment that tells of our protagonist who goes on a hero's journey and makes sacrifices along the way. This film was clearly super popular, and the box office alone can tell us that. This is because it builds on the already well-established MCU, tells a compelling story over several different characters, and makes the big bad of the franchise not just a one-dimensional character and throwaway. He truly just wants peace, but he's clearly going about it the wrong way. We'll have to see if our heroes can come back, and see how our hero, Thanos, deals with a much smaller team of Earth's not-so-mightiest heroes.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Derek. And